Hello, and welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Recapping Podcast.
Also, rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We want to hear your thoughts on the movies and shows we review.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or our YouTube channel, and we will read them during the show.
Or reach out to us on social media. We love talking all things entertainment and pop culture with you.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you. Hey, Ashley.
What's up, girl? How's it going?
You know, things are moving, shaking. Shout out to the sun being out until like 7:30 these days.
I know. I said the same thing recently. It does make you feel like you have a bit of a longer life having longer days, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like for me, we had a return to office, and with it still being light, I don't feel like, oh great, my whole day was like not with people I care about. You know what I mean?
It used to be so depressing to leave in the dark and then come home in the dark, for sure, especially for people who like don't work near in office buildings near windows and all that stuff. It was always like, yes. That's why people get like that whole winter blues feeling.
Yes.
So I know everybody doing their best. Hold on strong. We almost back to 9 o'clock.
We're almost
back.
But in light of seasons changing, it was still freaking cold when we saw each other.
Yes, the wind.
On Sunday. But we got a chance to see each other.
Absolutely. See each other. Also hang with our girl Shamika, because we're a threesome, you know. There's a three-way love going on. Just because she isn't on the pod doesn't mean she isn't felt. So
absolutely.
Yeah, we did a little brunch, a black brunch, really. That's what it was. Blackety black brunch.
It sure was. No, it was a lot of fun playing all the bops that we love so much. The food was good.
The food was okay, but apparently we didn't stay long enough to really enjoy the full turn up that it turns into. Because when I saw one of my friends, they were like, "Oh, y'all left already?" And I'm like, people had things to do. You know, people are grown, so ain't nobody staying there for 5 hours. But it was a good time. I didn't take full advantage. I have brunched for 5 hours before. I have, for real, but I was already hungover because I had done too much the night before and drank too much tequila. So I didn't even get a chance to take full advantage. Usually I'm a bottomless mimosas for brunch lover. And I just I wasn't there that day. But
I couldn't hang that long either because it was David's birthday weekend. Shout out to my bae, another year around the sun. So I was like, I was already asking him, like, is it okay if I go to brunch? And he was like, yeah, of course. I'm like, it's your birthday weekend. Are you sure?
He's so kind. He's so kind.
Yeah. So I pretty much was like, okay, we can hang, but I got to spend some time,
with my husband
at home. But it was good. I was happy to see you all. It's always a pleasure. Absolutely. No matter how much time. So all right, well, let's get into these headlines. Ashley, the internet was a buzzing earlier this week. I'm looking at people.com. Aaron Taylor Johnson subtly evades questions about his rumored James Bond casting. So, for everyone who isn't aware, my personal favorite Bond, one of them, of course, is Daniel Craig. He wrapped that role up after playing the role for 15 years, and there's been all types of speculation. Our fave, Idris Elba, is always in the running of conversation. But to hear about Aaron receiving an official offer, this is according to quote unquote The Sun. And the reason why I say quote unquote, The Sun is notorious for being
tabloid
fodder in the UK. But yeah, they said he received a formal offer for the role for the James Bond franchise production. and he's expected to sign a contract this week, citing sources. He's currently in the news because he's in this new movie with one of our favorite Ryan Gosling, for the Fall Guy, along with Emily Blunt. And he pretty much didn't answer the question. 1, do you think they made the decision? 2, do you think he's a good choice? And 3, who's your dream Bond?
They probably did make the decision. I mean, when did the last one come out? I mean, that's a franchise series. They probably
2021.
Okay. So
No Time to Die.
They probably did make the decision because they're ready to move forward with the storyline and continue. Based on how the last one ended, I am surprised with this decision. I didn't ever really have that much skin in the game on it. It wasn't even about Idris to me, because I know Idris has spoken out and said he never thought that it was a realistic chance that he was going to do it anyway. But I thought they were going in a female direction, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and so our girl.
Yeah, I didn't want to give anything away for folks who haven't seen the last Bond film, but the way that it was portrayed, it felt like we were going to be kind of starting a new era. So I was a little bit surprised, but disappointed. I mean, I'm sure he'll do a fantastic job in the role. He's a really great actor from other things that I've seen him in. And I mean, Bond is fun. Bond is action, as long as you can, get buffed out and look good in a suit. He
already is.
And look good in a suit, you'll be fine. Who would be my dream casting? I heard David Oyelowo get asked this question, and he said Damsel and Idris, and I was like, I think that's mine. Like, I think Damsel is at such a great point in his career to carry a franchise. He is handsome. He is youthful. He would have body. Like, I would love to see Damsel and Idris take on the role of 007. So ideal, if we're talking about we were going to make transition over to a black male lead, that was going to be it for me. What about for you?
So 1, I didn't know Aaron was British.
Because you never heard him talk in real life.
In real life, I've only seen him in film. And my first introduction to him is Kick-Ass. That is notorious considering his relationship with the director.
Yeah, his vintage wife. We're going to use Dion Cole's terminology. His vintage wife.
And he has grown up to be a handsome man. Okay. Because he was young. He was a teenager when I was first introduced 18. To him. Yeah. And so, and then of course he was in Bullet Train and several other roles. So 1, they're really big on having British guys play it. I didn't know he was British. So I'm like, oh, I can see this now. 2, I really didn't have a dream casting. I love my boo Reggae, but he's not, his acting isn't where it needs to be yet. Like, he's great for what he's done, but to me, a good audition for Bond was his role
in The Gray Man.
In The Gray Man,
not like,
and I did not enjoy that performance. So, and he since has done well in Dungeons and Dragons and things along those lines. And then with Idris would have been nice, but now I do feel like he might be a little bit too mature for the role, especially they like to do like 5 films or what have you. And, if he were to get the role, it'll just turn into like The Equalizer or something. I don't know.
Not The Equalizer, which I still need to watch the third ridiculous.
One. Me too.
If freaking Sylvester Stallone and all them still out here doing it, if Clint Eastwood is out here still doing it, all of them still doing action roles, if freaking Harrison Ford is out here still doing it, he can do it.
Liam
freaking Neeson, and we supposed to believe y'all can still just have all of the, like Clint Eastwood, my guy is like, was in his 80s still like, I'm an action star. Crazy.
Oh, absolutely. And, bless him. Bruce Willis, he wasn't ill, I'm sure he would have been.
Yeah, because he was in the Expendables. That's what I'm saying. Sylvester Stallone and crew, I should say, because all of them like action stars of the 90s, they were all in those films.
So we shall see, Ashley. We shall see. Let's go ahead and go and talk about another British person. The saga of where is this chick named Kate Middleton continues. Whoever is responsible for PR at Kensington Palace needs to be fired. I feel like we're capable of having a more cohesive plan of communication than what they've been doing in recent weeks with the internet fodder of where is Kate? Ashley, speaking of The Sun again, The Sun and TMZ released a video of apparent Prince William and Kate walking at a farm shop in Windsor wearing casual clothes. I'm looking at Times right now. It says, why the new video of Kate Middleton isn't quelling concerns. Because that wasn't her, Ashley. Two things, okay? Two things. Why is that video so grainy? They have done paparazzi shots that have been so much clearer than that grainy ass shot.
They was getting Diana like snipers back in the day. I could see her on a yacht from the middle of the ocean.
Girl. And for Kate to have had abdominal surgery and needed to be left alone, why is she walking so briskly holding that big ass bag?
That's what everybody was saying in the comments. Usually you need time where you can't be lifting up to so many pounds and this and that. And
they were doing too much. Like, even let's say it is her. Okay. Why is that bag so big? And we know they don't even carry bags. Let alone one of my favorite people, they're like, do they even know how to use a credit card? Like, do they do their own shopping?
I have
of course
no
she
idea.
did at one point because she was a commoner.
Yeah, but she may be like Kris Jenner now. Remember that episode I told you about where they went to like Whole Foods, her and Kylie? And I'm like, who is this for?
First of all, they were walking around that grocery store like it was Disney World.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you see that? I want two of those.
Who is this for? Even Beyonce still goes to Target. Like, who is this for? Confused.
Do you believe that's Kate in that video, Ashley?
I hope to God it is, because I'm tired of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm over it. Somebody submit a DNA sample. Somebody do something. Put her on video, even if it's at home, so that, you know, people can just let it go. To your point, it is a travesty that there has not been more authentication, I guess, at this point to just kind of let this die. But it also goes to show we're in a totally different era where you can't control the narrative the way that you used to be able to. And whoever is running the show for them needs to know that this is no longer whatever work with I'm gonna say Princess Elizabeth, whatever work with Queen Elizabeth in her reign is not about to work with Charles, and is damn sure not about to work for William. So y'all better get whoever was running Wendy's Twitter at one point, whoever was like holding the social media platforms together, hire those people, because y'all definitely are going to need to be able to control this narrative and be out front moving forward as the royal family. If y'all don't want people to be like, why is this even? Because Black British people, even in the comments, were like, we don't even care about this. Like, y'all are blowing this up. We don't even care. Yeah. So like, you're already working against your irrelevance. And then now it's also like just complete tabloid fodder. So y'all gonna have to figure it out.
That was part of the monarchy's power, was their mystique. And these comedy of errors have made them a joke around the world. This one British commentator called them Kardashian-like at this rate. And I was like, wow. And there's this other conversation too that I think is important that certain corners of the internet and news publications are saying. Is like, we live in a time where we can't even trust our eyes anymore because we live in the age of AI.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's important, to your point, to have a better handle of the narrative. This is why Queen Elizabeth knew exactly what she was doing. She was like, I am holding on to this crown to the very end. I thought the British monarchy was going to be irrelevant in 10 years. They are like, what, 8 years earlier than what I anticipated after Elizabeth. You know what I mean? I'm like, Charles ain't got it. This right here, this ain't great. And the way that the British media is scrambling to make some anti Prince Harry, Meghan narrative, talking about all their pictures and whether or not they've been fabricated. I'm like, y'all are grasping for straws.
Wow. Did you think it was funny about Obama going to visit and everybody saying he had to go? He said, Michelle, I got to go check on Katie. So I'll be back.
Like, I'm going to check on my girl real quick. but Ashley, what I love the most out of that, I'm so glad you brought up President Obama. Literally, he shows up because I'm like, what is he doing over there for some quote unquote private meeting, right? Not even 3 hours later, there's this video of Kate floating on TMZ. Like, he works fast, Ashley. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about some music, shall we? First, Beyoncé, her highly anticipated Act 2, Cowboy Carter. It's coming out literally next week. Can you believe it?
I can.
She has revealed the cover to her new album. She is sitting on a white horse, according to someone close to her camp. This horse is named Chardonnay. There's an American flag. She's wearing red, white, and blue. She has very white hair. I don't know what face this is. I guess she's just giving face because face card never declines. And then she gave a very powerful message talking about how this album has been over 5 years in the making. It was born out of an experience she had years ago where she says she did not feel welcome. And I don't know, I'm really excited. She talked about how there's going to be a few surprises on the album and collaborations with brilliant artists. And more importantly, this ain't a country album. This is a Beyoncé album. This is Act 2, Cowboy Carter. And I'm proud to share with y'all 2 questions. 1, thoughts on the cover. Do you like it? Do you not? 2, who do you think is on her album in terms of collaboration? And I lied, 3, the level of petty from her experience with the CMTs, the way they did her and the Chicks, when all she wanted to do was sing Daddy Lessons of Peace, and they lost a Sugar Honey Iced Tea. And she was like, okay, bet. She's like, I am country. I'm from freaking Texas, and you got a problem with it because I'm Black? Y'all suck.
And she's on her Michael Jordan level grudge. So I feel her. I didn't really have too many thoughts about the artwork. Again, it's following a line with what we've seen already. It's this kind of very pageant sash along with the horse. The horse, I feel like, is going to be a theme, obviously, possibly through all 3 acts of Renaissance. The kind of American red, white, and blue. It's not my aesthetic, but I get the point. I get the messaging a bit with that. She looks beautiful, as always. Didn't expect anything less. Who do I want her to collaborate with? I'm not a big country music person, but I do hope the way that this has been helping to shine a light on Black country artists, I hope she has some great collabs with folks the same way she did with Black is King, right? Who may not have been as well known to American audiences with Afro beats. Some of those Black country artists are just great country artists who if you're not in that genre, you may not know much about. And also bringing some people with her in terms of just crossing over, right? So if you want to have a little collab with Destiny's Child and y'all bring us some little country ditty, I'm down for it. So I think it's going to be great no matter what. We talked about her doing probably a cover of Jolene. That would be fire. You know, I'm just looking forward to some great music. What I don't want it to be is too long, because I feel like the longer albums are these days, the less cohesive they tend to be. That's always been my biggest beef with Chris Brown over the last few years. Girl, just 20 tracks of it, 30, 40 tracks of endless music. Give me the cohesive best you got. Which Beyonce tends to always do, but I just hope that continues with this album as well. And then what was your third question?
The CMT, the Revenge album, this essentially is.
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember that CMT or CMA performance.
Sorry.
The Dixie Chicks have talked about it again. Yes. You know, it's just always interesting to see artists step into different genres. This happened even with Lil Nas X when he did his collaboration, and people try to say, oh, that's not a country album and this and that. We belong in every space. We pretty much invented almost every genre and style of music. And if this is the motivation she needed to fuel her to, you know, be excited to step into this lane, I'm excited for her. So I'm down for it. Like I said, Michael Jordan level of petty. Sometimes you need it to fuel you to make great things. So get that ring.
All right. For me, collabs that I would love to see, Casey Musgraves. I would love to see it. To your point, I would love for Beyonce to feature Black people who are already in the space to amplify their voices. We talked about Jolene. Please let it happen. My last question about Cowboy Carter for you, Ashley, is she mentioned this ain't a country album. This is a Beyonce album. What do you think that means? Do you think she'll be fusing everything together? You know, R&B, blues, country. Because like Texas Hold'em is very much like a yeehaw type of sound. Versus obviously 16 Carriages. So she's already given us variety there.
Yeah, I think sonically, in terms of probably the production, it's going to be a blend that you wouldn't necessarily catch from just pure country artists, right? I think she's going to your point, infuse different styles. There may still be a country tone to everything, especially like one of the great things about a lot of country is the storytelling. So, you know, you may get some rich storytelling with some of the songs on there, which would be great. But yeah, I don't think that it's going to be, you know, the same album you would get from Carrie Underwood or just a more straight-laced country artist. What I will say, though, that I hope that does not happen on this album is I hope there is not a collaboration with Taylor Swift. I will say that now.
Interesting. And let's also keep it 1,000. Country music, especially in the last, let's say, decade, they out here rapping for real with a twang.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about artists like Florida Georgia Line. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of them. And I'm like, this is rapping, right? Like, is it just me?
Definitely some genre bending. You know, it's not the Loretta Lynn's and some of those folks. And even, again, early days, you know, Dolly Parton. Yes, she's made a rock album now, but Dolly Parton used to be straight country. So.
Oh, and I used to really love the Judds. They were very old school country.
Garth Brooks.
Anyway. Oh, yes. All right. So we will see. So Ashley, speaking of music, a lot of people's faves are coming out with albums. We have Ariana Grande. Her new album just came out, Eternal Sunshine. We have Justin Timberlake. New album came out, Everything I Thought It Was. Like I mentioned before, Beyonce album's coming out next week. And the Swifties are going to be happy because new music is coming for them in April. Have you listened to any of the newer music, specifically Ariana and Justin?
I have not listened to either of their albums. And I'm going to give Ariana Grande's album a listen for sure, because I think Ariana Grande has such a great voice, and I tend to enjoy at least a few tracks off of her albums usually. I still just don't know how I feel about Justin Timberlake right now, in terms of consuming his music. The last album he put out, which we've talked about, Man of the Woods, was not remotely a fave for me. And yeah, I don't know. Like we're in a very weird place with perception and how things have kind of gone down with him and Britney, and then Post and kind of his reactions to things. I just don't know. I just don't know how I feel about him right now. So I'm not running. Yeah. I'm not running to listen to anything, not because I don't think there may be some music on there that I still enjoy, but it's just like, I am one of those people where if I don't like the artist, I don't gravitate to their music. And so I'm getting a feel for it. Like I think we talked about this, did not want to watch his Tiny Desk.
Yes.
I've just not been either. I've not been feeling his vibe lately. So maybe if the tides turn for me, and I know there's the NSYNC song on there and stuff, which I, still love NSYNC. Maybe I'll feel differently, but right now it's not on the top of my list to give a listen.
So I have listened to Ariana Grande's album, and I don't like it. I don't like it for several reasons. So I realized very quickly that I feel uncomfortable whenever she talks about being in a relationship and me questioning whether or not this song is autobiographical or not, because it just feels weird to me. Like in one of her songs, The Boy Is Mine, I'm like, oh. For her to have such a long history of allegedly being the cause of multiple relationships, I don't know how much I can enjoy this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just feels...
Her personal life has started to bleed or overshadow her music a little bit, because you know a lot of things that have happened.
Too much. Mm-hmm. Talking about we can't be friends. Wait for your love. Again, were you waiting for him to get a divorce? Like, I don't...
Because it's so real. I mean, I think the thing that's always interesting when these type of stories come out with celebrities is people be like, oh, I feel so misunderstood. Let me speak my truth. But the wife spoke her truths and she said, you ain't shit. So like, don't make it seem like we're just grasping at straws. You know what I'm saying? Naya Rivera, may she rest in peace, spoke on you being around Big Sean. I'm gonna say Lil Sean, he's little. Big Sean, when they were still together. Like the public is not just grasping at straws with stuff that we know of or that comes out about people. So yeah, you may feel like you're being harshly judged, because everybody does they dirt. But at the end of the day, that is something, because, as great of a vocalist that I feel like Ariana Grande is, she certainly has had a very messy and public love life that, unfortunately, I do feel like is starting to overshadow some of her talent. Like I said, even with Wicked, like I was like, are we even still talking about Wicked? Or are we talking about the chaos behind the scenes? Because I'm wondering, Cynthia, what you think, sister? What you think about all this? Well, you know what I'm saying?
Ain't in no good position either, because her main boo is Lena Waithe, and Lena Waithe was married.
So I did not know anything about that, Delora.
I don't know if Cynthia happened that ended that relationship or not, but I just know after Lena and her wife broke up, the next public relationship she had was with Cynthia. So,
well, listen, both Glenda and
allegedly.
Listen, although that set had a lot going on.
Timelines are blurred.
Well, that's why I say everybody does their dirt, right? So to think that, yes, as a public figure, you can, especially women, be very harshly judged for the things you're doing, sure. But if your fans feel some type of way, if people don't want to gravitate towards you as an artist because of that, that has financial repercussions.
I also want to talk about this Pitchfork analysis of his latest album. they said the pop star latest is less of a faceplant than a comfortable rehash of past glories.
They talking about Justin Timberlake?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He scales his stuttering electro and siliquy 80s funk into hollow, expensive sounding maximalism. I think the part that took me out was this part of this article. It says, Timberlake's sixth album, Everything I Thought It Was, is designed to buff the dents out of his public image in wake of a recent memoir by his ex-girlfriend, Britney Spears. I laughed. I cackled. Oh, it's worth mentioning, Pitchfork gave Justin Timberlake album a 4.9.
Out of what, 10?
Yes, me. Not good. You know, there's conversations talking about, can pop stars, you know, maintain their glory as they get older. And it was a conversation about Justin Timberlake's new album and Jennifer Lopez's latest project. So
that's a large age gap between them, though. So if J-Lo is just now starting to get into a level of not necessarily being as hot as she once was, well, then she had about 20 years on them. So
that part, you know, not to be shady, but on Twitter just the other day, there was this interview with Mariah Carey, and the interviewer was asking, like, what are your thoughts about all the pop girls that are out now, like Beyonce and J-Lo? And Mariah was like, oh, I love Beyonce, she's great, but with the other one, she's older than they are. She just came out with music later than everyone else. I was like, you know, the beef between them is just legendary.
Yes.
AKA,
blame Tommy
I don't
Mottola.
know her.
Yeah. Blame
exactly.
Tommy Mottola for all that.
But yeah, I just wanted to highlight that because I'm like, I literally saw that video from the interview the other day, and it took me out because Mariah ain't got no time.
I think the conversation about relevance is fair, though, because I think we look at people like the Beyoncés and the Ushers and we forget how hard it is to stay popping for.
You're talking about Usher like he didn't just crawl back to the top after decades.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not possible for everybody. Yes, Beyonce has been consistent and has been the queen for a long time. Usher had his moment where he was dropping off and now he's back. Well, I don't know if Justin Timberlake is really ever going to have that. It really may have been the end of his era with the 2020 experience. And then he's going to move into the phase of, let me just have concerts where I sing my hits. And then I'm going to, like, I just think it's way harder than people give people credit for when they are able to, like, keep it popping.
But he was so bent on wanting to be an actor for so long. He also didn't nurture his music. And on top of that, Ashley,
bent on being an actor, Delora, or do you think he didn't have anything left musically that he wanted to do?
I don't know. I think he was thinking he was going to be an actor. I mean, willing to do movies with freaking, who's the Woody Allen and everything. So after we know everything about him, you know what I mean? Because he thought this was going to be the role, and it wasn't, because nobody really remembered that movie. Anyway, what I hate the most of what Justin is doing, though, is what he's doing to NSYNC. Like, he is using NSYNC's goodwill as a lifeline. And it's just feeling like he's using them instead of, like, embracing and giving the fans what they want. It feels a bit self-serving, in my personal opinion.
I think it feels that way even more so too, because he's not been someone who, at the height of his career and fame, embraced them. Like, again, he didn't bring them out during the Super Bowl halftime show. It seemed like he barely wanted to bring them out during his Vanguard Award years ago at MTV. Yes. He's always kind of been like, I was in a boy band, but that doesn't define me. I am my own man on my own terms with a different genre of music that I'm actually proud of now being an R&B guy, right? And so I agree. Now you know, we love nostalgia. You've seen that Backstreet Boys and all them have still kept their fans on the hook for the love of boy bands. So I 1,000% agree with that. But I say that too because I think acting and music are so different, where music, there's a level of inspiration you need to create a great album. And I just don't know if he ran out of that juice sooner than a lot of us would have thought. And that's why he gravitated more towards acting, because you can get a great script and you can play a role. Great. But to create an album.
Right.
Because Man of the Woods.
He did do a song with Chris Stapleton that I love. It's called Say Something, but I also just love Chris Stapleton, so that's a whole nother conversation. Girl, let's go ahead and get into this hot topic. The 55th NAACP Image Awards was like last week, and I say that because there are 5 nights worth of awards, Ashley, ending at the pinnacle of their live show that was March 16th, available on BET and CBS, hosted by the Queen Latifah. Did you get a chance to watch it?
I did not. I was out in them streets. I mean, they aired on Saturday. It's a little tough to catch it live on the weekend sometime. On Saturdays. I shouldn't say the weekend because a lot of them are Sunday shows, but Saturday.
A lot of them are Sunday shows. Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah. There was an opening with Queen Latifah and Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. Girl, they threw in a joke talking about the best silk press secrets, like tips, because they have some of the best hair. Like, can we just talk about Queen Latifah and how legendary her hair and wardrobe has been for decades? Like, she has been dressing, like, whoever is her stylist has been doing a phenomenal job with her, like, forever.
Yeah.
And then her hair alone, the color, again, the silk press, always fly. Shout out to Queen. And I always think it's funny because it's like when they get Black Twitter correct, they're like, thank you for that joke, because Kamala's hair stays fly as well. But I'm going to talk about the winners because Ashley and I were talking about this before the mic was on, and you made a very valid point in the fact that there are so many categories for the NAACP award. I think you were surmising that it's probably the largest award show out there.
Yes, I think it really is. I couldn't tell you exactly how many categories I went through, but I was like, dear God. I mean, because you're breaking everything out and you're crossing so many genres of media, you know, even to like, you know, social media star is a category,
social media, literature, TV, movies, podcasts. So it's like if the Emmys and the Oscars
and the Ambies
exactly, and then whatever literary award
was the Pulitzer, the something.
Yes. Was all in one. And again, I am just going to highlight a few of the winners because again, these categories are also hilarious to me too. I'm not going to lie. But that's the beautiful thing about these award shows. You can do whatever you want. So for the live show, they aired the Chairman's Award, which went to Amanda Gorman, which I love so much. She is the fantastic poet who became famous 4 years ago during the inauguration of President Joe Robinette Biden.
Is that his middle name?
I believe so,
idea.
Yes.
Had no idea.
Very old school. Hall of Fame. What does that even mean? But love it. New edition.
Yes.
What I loved was Donnie Wahlberg introduced their award, and in his intro, he said there will be no New Kids on the Block. There will be no Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, One Direction, Justin Timberlake,
Facts.
Harry Styles, if there were no new addition.
And New Kids on the Block is literally the let me grab the white folks from Boston and try to put this same sauce together that we did with New Edition. So them are the facts, Donnie Wahlberg.
So you're saying New Kids on the Block is to New Edition as Friends is to Living Single.
Facts. The only legitimate successor for New Edition in my eyes is Boyz II Men. Legitimate successor.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedy. President's Award, Usher. Entertainer of the Year, Usher. Outstanding music video / visual album goes to Sensational, Chris Brown and Davido and Loj. I do like that song. Sensational, Afrobeats.
Mm-hmm.
Outstanding soul and R&B song, ICU remix featuring Justin Timberlake, Coco Jones.
Nah.
Outstanding.
Put Coco by herself. I ain't even like that remix. It's not even about, it's their voices. His voice. That's exactly. His voice did not pull me in any direction. I like her song with Renee Rapp. Their voices complemented each other.
That is my song. When I say, I'm surprised I haven't made it a hidden gem, but I made Renee's whole album my hidden gem one time. That song in particular, Ashley, has been on rotation since last year.
Yeah. Yeah, that did nothing. And I was at the time, again, still like, oh, let's see what sauce he brings to this song. It did nothing for me. And I love ICU. Coco. Sang that down, girl.
I'm so proud of her. And I love, she gives me pageant girl vibes sometimes because she's always so put together. I just
Hillary.
love her.
She's Hillary Banks.
Very much so.
What do you want?
Oh, the song I'm referring to is Tummy Hurts. Renee Rapp featuring Coco Jones. Outstanding supporting actor in a motion picture, Coleman Domingo, The Color Purple. Outstanding supporting actress in a motion picture, Taraji P. Henson, The Color Purple. Outstanding actor in a comedy, Mike Epps, The Upshaws. Outstanding actress in a comedy, Quinta Brunson, Avid Elementary. Outstanding actor in a drama, Denson Aegis, Snowfall. Outstanding actress in a drama series, India, Amar Tifolo for Queen Charlotte, A Bridgerton Story. Honestly, her winning, she was so surprised. And I was like, of course she deserves this. You know my part. I will tell you where you are between the heavens and the earth. Do you love me? She deserved more this award season, in my personal opinion. Coleman Domingo. She did. I love that outfit with that hat to the side.
Mm-hmm.
The whole cast of Queen Charlotte looked phenomenal, especially baby Lady Danbury. Her red outfit was fire. Outstanding actor in a motion picture, Coleman Domingo Resson. Outstanding actress in a motion picture, Fantasia Barrino, The Color Purple. And outstanding motion picture, The Color Purple. Do you think Oprah paid them? No.
I mean, it is a purple backdrop and color scheme, so.
I'm teasing. They deserve more this award season as well. And I'm so glad that they got the recognition for the great job that they did in this movie. Fantasia in particular, she did not believe she was going to win. And her speech just gave me chills and goosebumps, talking about, again, didn't think she was going to win, but she ended singing "To God Be the Glory." And I'm just like, anytime Fantasia and that mic, woo! I hope she does more roles. Actually, that was just from the live night 6. Okay. What are your thoughts on the winners? Were there any surprises for any of the winners that had happened? Because again, there are 6 nights. And as we mentioned before, it covers the gamut of music, TV, podcasts, social media, literature. Yeah. What'd you think, Ashley?
I think the only one that surprised me, which I talked to you about before we started recording, was I cannot remember the exact category, but it was something to do with like limited film or series. And it was for Best Actress, and both Chloe Bailey for Praise This, which we've recapped, and Dominique Fishback for Swarm, which we've recapped, were nominated, and Chloe Bailey won. No shade to Chloe Bailey, but what Dominique Fishback did with that role in that series, I was just shocked that she would not have taken it.
I pray for her mental well-being to this day for the stuff that she did in that series.
It's one of those to me where that was such a stellar performance and like bend that she had to do over the course. If a white woman had done that, she would have won a lot of awards. And that... Easy. I stand on that. She was fantastic. So that surprised me. Everything else was like, okay, I got you. I do hope Higher Learning wins something at some point with podcasting, because I do love their podcast so much, but it is what it is.
I'm super proud of the people who did win Best Podcasting, and that's my internet cousin Kev on Stage and that chick Angel for Here's the Thing. Their podcast is freaking hilarious. Okay.
They're both amazing.
They are amazing. And I'm just so proud of them, because I remember Kev on Stage had been wanting to win an NAACP award for a long time. And the first major time he got nominated, I think he lost to the young man who talked to kids about like, are you smart? And then the second time he lost was to Tabitha Brown. And I'm like, sir, you were up against freaking Tabitha Brown.
And now they're like besties. Post under everything for each other.
Exactly. But girl, they make sure everybody gets love, because I'm looking at here, Outstanding Talk series, The Jennifer Hudson Show, but Outstanding Host and Talk or News is Sherry. So I feel like they do a good job making room. Outstanding Drama Series, Queen Charlotte. Outstanding Actress in a Comedy, AO for The Bear. So yeah. A lot of categories, a lot of love. Let me just go ahead and check out the literary one real quick, because I am curious to see if I know any of those works. Oh, outstanding literary work, nonfiction. And then they have a debut author. I love that. Oh, they do a great job. I don't know of any of these works offhand, so I can't give a cosign, but Best New Artist, Music, Victoria Monet. Outstanding Female Artist, Her. Meg Thee Stallion won for Best Hip Hop Song for Cobra. Shout out to Kirk Franklin for Father's Day. Best Gospel Album, Christian Album. That was a good one. All right. Any other thoughts on the NAACP Awards, Ashley?
I will just say what I saw of the carpet. Everybody looked fantastic. Maybe I'm biased, but
no, everybody looked
really good.
They really did. All right. If there's nothing else, Ashley, what are we recapping for next week?
All right. So we are wrapping up our Women's History Month recaps with A Damsel Not So in Distress. Millie Bobby Brown takes on the role. Damsel, fantasy film, can find it on Netflix, fairly new release. I believe it just got topped as the #1 film in the US top 10. So if you have not seen it, check it out, come back. We're going to talk about it and kind of how this ranks. As you know, we love fantasy. We also love some dragons. So how this stacks up to other projects within the genre. So looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Sounds great. I can't wait.
All right. Well, thank you guys, as always, for sticking with us. We are at like episode 260, which is mind blowing. We are on the track to 300 episodes. So we appreciate all of you guys who listen weekly, bi-weekly, or who are new to joining the community. We appreciate you guys. Please share this episode with your friends, family, loved ones. Rate us, give us a rating or review, reach out to us on social media. We will be back as always, but in the meantime, be blessed.
Bye.